cannot believe I'm finally doing this. Because I have been holding this in for 2.5 years now. This is something that may shock people. A good amount of people that are close to me know this. But this is the very first time I'm finally gonna talk about this after all this time holding this stuff in. And this is not gonna be fucking easy. I can promise y'all this, because I can feel my heart racing. But there's something I wanted to finally talk about. And I know this may not be appropriate to put on this channel, but you know what? This is my channel. I have final say in what gets posted here. And if people don't like what I'm about to talk about, I don't care. Okay? Because all I care about are the people that support me. But it's time for me to finally sit down here and talk about this. Because what I'm about to say, I have not audibly ever said before. And it's effective that I'm doing this on the first day of Pride Month. I guess it's so hard to say, because like, even though I've come to terms with this a while ago and everything, it's taken me until now to finally sit down and do this. Wanted to finally open up about this, that yours truly, the champ, Double Z, you know the nicknames, everything, coming out of the closet now because I'm bisexual. I can't believe I just finally said that those words together for the first time fucking ever. My heart is still racing even now I finally said the words I'm bisexual for the first time ever out loud. And I'm trying to do this all in one take because I don't want to have to do cuts and everything, but I'm tired of holding this in. A good amount of people here within my circle, they've known this for a little while now. But I at least want to give a look, finally giving insight to this, because I want to be transparent about this. And once again, if people don't like that I'm part of the LGBTQI plus community, or the fact that I've just come out now, I don't care. Okay? I have to be real. I have to be myself. I can't put on a fucking facade and act like something I'm not. I have to be real. Okay? But now, some people may be wondering, how long have you known? Some people may be surprised. I know there were some people that I actually came out to that weren't surprised. But I guess I might as well give some insight of this so people can understand this. And some people may wonder, what's your earliest memory of when you first realized this? What took so long to finally come to terms with this and even sit down here and say this? For as long as I can remember, there's something that was in my head that had this inkling that I was not straight. Something in there, in this head of mine, knew it. But for years upon years, I was stuck in this cycle of just suppression and denial. Because let's face it, even though we're in 2025, we're still in a messed up world where people think it's okay to discriminate against the LGBTQI plus community. There is no good justification, or any justification period, for being transphobic, homophobic, biphobic, etc. Okay? People are people, humans are humans. As long as how somebody lives their life is neither illegal nor actually harming somebody, just let them be. Okay? Like here in America, it's not illegal to be part of the LGBTQI plus community. I don't care who the president is. It is not illegal. I don't care what anybody says. But like I said, for as long as I could remember, there have been thoughts of this for like just constantly circulating through my head. But because of how people react to the community and like stuff that I've mentioned in past videos and everything over the years, you get to that point where you feel like it's never safe to be your true self. You have to feel like you have to keep fucking hiding it and denying it, and anytime you have those thoughts, you keep telling yourself no, 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 over and over. And I know some people might like get that thought saying that, oh, if you tell yourself something hard enough and constant enough, you'll eventually believe it. I kept telling myself no, and I kept having those thoughts about questioning my sexuality running through my head for fucking years. And no matter how many times I kept denying and suppressing what my thoughts were saying, it never went away. But then it has to come to when I finally came to terms with this. And this goes back to 2022, after my ex, aka Red, left. If you've been on the channel, you know who I'm referring to. After she left in March of 2022, I remember there was a YouTuber named Jaden Animation. I'm sure a good amount of you who may be watching this video may be familiar with her channel. If not, I highly recommend it. Very entertaining channel and content there. She, I think it was like around May-ish of 2022, she uploaded a video called Being Not Straight, where she finally sat down and, like, her animation style, but came to terms with being aromantic asexual, which means she has little to no romantic and intimate feelings when it comes to other people. And when I watched her video and listened to her story and everything, that's when things started to resonate with me. And I did some research and everything, and that's when I realized I was on the spectrums for aromanticism and asexuality, more specifically gray, which is, if you want to look up what gray romanticism and gray sexuality are, I recommend doing your own research. There are pages about this, because there's no set definition for those terms, but it's like a gray area within that spectrum, within the asexual, aromanticism part, in terms of like your romantic and sexual feelings. And when I came to terms with that, I was a little startled at first, and then I started doing research, and I realized that makes me part of the LGBTQI+ community, which, again, I was a little shaken at first, because like I'm trying to come to terms with stuff, but then after I realized it's like, hey, you're part of a community, I'm like, okay. So I breathed a little bit. But then within the next few months, the sexuality stuff started being, like, popping up again. Just constantly running through my head. And I remember in the subreddit for the community, which is, like, they still have it listed as LGBT, because you can change the name, but you can't change the URL of a subreddit, but they still go with the original acronym there. And usually, like, when you have your profile, you can have, like, their little flags with, like, for your banners, depending on how you identify. You can have, like, little text quotes afterwards to kind of, like, have a little play on them. And I remember with the bisexual ones, people would put bye bye bye, spelled bi-bi-bi, as a parody of the song Bye 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 by NSYNC. And during that summer, those thoughts were running through my head again, and I remember very vividly, like in August 2022, I was in the waiting room for like my dentist appointment, and what song played over the the speaker system? Bye 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 by NSYNC. And as soon as I heard that, I just sat there frozen. I was just like, oh my god. Because I honestly have that belief that there can be times where things happen in the world that kind of coincide with stuff that you're thinking to make you believe something even more. Like, it's almost like when you think of a song that you like, and then all of a sudden, that same, like, shortly thereafter, that song that you got stuck in your head or you're thinking of suddenly it plays on the radio. Be like, oh my god, I was just thinking about this. And then something coincides with what you're thinking, and when I heard that, I sat there in the chair, I'm like, still in the waiting room, like, oh my god. So then after that, that's when I finally came to the realization that it was a reality. But I kept my mouth shut on this for well over a year. Because, like I said, you never know who's going to accept you for this and who isn't. So then, fast forward now, like about a year after this, I was on the Boo app, and I came across... It's going to be tough to talk about this one because of who it involves, but it involves somebody... I'm just going to go by first name basis. I'm not going to give last name too, but I came across Kevin. And for those who have spoken to me or seen my social media, you know who I'm referring to. We started talking on the Boo app, and for those who don't know what Boo is, it's one of the social media apps. It can be with, like, looking for friends or relationships and stuff, and the app, it can look like a mix between Facebook and Tinder in a way. It's got some features mixed in, but it has that general look. First matched in summer of 2023 and started talking, and he lives not too far away from me. And there were times where we were talking and he wanted to meet up, but I was hesitant because I was just so nervous. Because I'm sure, like, as an introvert, anybody who may be introvert too, you get that hesitation and, like, anxious feeling about meeting up with somebody for the very first time. So I kept holding off until December 2023, more specifically December 21st, 2023. We met up for the very first time. And I've also got a video, like, podcast episode that I've recorded before this that I will eventually release, talk about this subject. That night, he took my virginity in the backseat of his car. And like I said, I've got a podcast episode of the MAWBR podcast where I talk about this. It's not going to go into the most specific details, I promise you. It's not going to be like this and that and this and that. Because, like, I was doing my best to try to adhere to community guidelines and everything, so it will give more detail about that night, but it's not going to be, like, the most in-depth detail to where you're still going to be like, oh, I don't want to hear that, so I'm trying to spare people's ears. But that night, December 21st, 2023, he took my virginity in the backseat of his car in a hotel parking lot. And I remember I tried not to get emotional that night when we came back to my house for him to drop me off. Because, like, the fact that finally happened after a long time of waiting, something I never thought would ever happen. And I don't mean, like, a man-on-man, like, intimate moment. Because, like, that was also, like, first time cuddling, first kiss, and all that stuff. Just the thought of finally losing my virginity, finally after so long of waiting, I never thought it was ever going to happen. And I remember the next day, which was on a Friday, I was out to lunch. And because, like, work was down because of the holiday season, and I got on social media. I went to Snapchat and Instagram. I went to Snapchat to talk to my friend Theo, and Instagram to talk to Ashley. Shout out to both of them, by the way. And I told them about the night prior, and they were both, like, very, like, at first I just told them that I finally lost my virginity. Because, like, at first I was getting their thoughts on this, like, if it counted, and they said, yes, it counts by the stuff that went on. And they were, like, congratulatory and everything, which was awesome, and then they asked for details. And that's when I finally came out for the very first time. And I'm not counting coming out in terms of, like, telling new people that I just meet through social media about this. I'm talking about, like, people who have already been in my life that I finally open up to about this. And thankfully, they've both been completely receptive and accepting of this. I mean, I knew Theo would because, like, I've known Theo for, at the time of this recording, 14 and a half years. A very long time. Ashley, like, I think I didn't know how she was going to react just because, like, it wasn't really a discussion that we've had over the years about something like that. But, like, thankfully, they've both been completely receptive. And then as time went along, like, eventually, stuff started happening with Kevin in a relationship, which ended after less than 5 months. And also, as of, at least the recording of this, I'm recording this early in March. I have not, like, he left me back in September of 2024. Last time I heard from him was, like, before Thanksgiving. Thanks, Heartbreaker. But, like, it was a tough thing to go through, because, like, eventually I started to come out to more people. I told Robin, my best friend in the world, who, again, if you guys have seen certain videos, you know who I'm referring to. I told my friends here in the wrestling community. I think there's just been one person that's been, like, accepting, but not, like, full-on, like, yay, supportive, just because, like, certain beliefs, which is, like, as long as I'm not being shunned out, that's all that really matters. But so far, thankfully, from at least everything that I've seen, nobody that I told this to has shunned me out, being like, oh, I don't want to be close to you anymore. So it's like, having that, like, people in your life accept you for this, not shutting you down, is like a massive relief. Like, not losing people over this, because that's the thing I think a lot of people also fear about coming out, is like reactions, and if people are even going to accept you for this. Because somebody like myself, I've got bad separation anxiety. I hate losing people in my life. So it's just like, I think that was like also one of my biggest fears, because like, you never know initially who's going to accept you for this and who isn't. And the fact that like everybody who I've come out to so far has accepted me has been a massive plus. And how people may also be thinking like, have you ever, even before coming to terms with my sexuality, did I ever do anything with a man? Obviously not. Like I said, my first time was after coming to terms and coming out. And I think maybe some people may be thinking, oh, what about now? Are you with somebody now? Yes. Because again, like I said, this is March now. I have been with a certain somebody now for about 3 months. If you've been, like, if you watch certain videos, you've heard me mention this name before. Of course, that being DJ. DJ, if you're watching this. Because, like, I know, like, he and I first, like, started talking before Kevin left and everything, and things didn't start up till, like, a few months after that whole thing happened, and, like, if it wasn't for DJ, I don't know what my mental state would be right now, because he was, like, it's very fitting. As soon as Kevin leaves, like, the whole time that Kevin's been gone, DJ's been there and big, like, my biggest supporter in the meantime, and I don't know where what I would be doing right now without him. So DJ, if you're watching this right now, thank you. You really don't know how much you mean to me. And I'm trying to, fight back emotions during all this, because again, it's finally sitting here, like, I think about this for a second. I came to terms with my sexuality in August 2022. It's taken until now for me to finally sit down and record this. Over 2 years of holding this in from y'all. But it's just like, again, like, if people can't accept me for this, oh well. All I care about are the people that support me about, like, when it comes to this. And I know, like, this is also a bit of a rarity, because, like, at least to my knowledge, not a lot of content creators here within the YouTube wrestling community are in the LGBTQIA plus community in terms of people that come here and talk wrestling, in terms of making content. Like, I know of at least a few that have, like, I know Christian Miracle, I think Miss WWE Fan 13 is. There was a YouTuber that was here that was known as the Tommy Taker that used to have, like, this big Gumby figure that was, like, in the background. Before he left, I know he was in the community. So it's like, there aren't a lot of content creators within the YouTube wrestling community that are in the community itself, like, in terms of, like, their gender or sexual identity and stuff. But now we've got another one here, folks. So I think I've gotten everything said. If there's any questions that people have, feel free to ask in the comments. I will try my best to answer as honestly as I can in the replies. And eventually I will release the podcast episode where I talk about that night of finally losing my virginity, even though it took 31 years to do. But, like they say, better late than never. But, finally, I think I've said everything I need to say. And also, once again, I will put DJ's TikTok in the description. Because, like, I gotta show my boyfriend the support. Because, like I said, I don't know where I would be right now without him. He has kept my head above water, even when I thought I was gonna drown. So, like I said, DJ, I hope you're watching this. And like I said, thank you for being by my side. I really appreciate you. So anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks for watching, folks. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out, and good day, everybody.